So, to all of you ladies out there who think that they are being abused, if something is going on inside of you where you feel like you're being manipulated or controlled, if you feel suffocated for any reason and you are in a relationship and you're in love with somebody, because we all know what it's like to fall in love with somebody and everybody's like, well, just leave. Well, it's not that easy, and we get that. We understand that. But reaching out, having supports, having community, things like that, that is going to be your saving grace. You can't save people. They need to save themselves. The abusive relationship that I went through went as far as me even seeing 2 different therapists and having couples counseling with this person. So, a lot of abusers will take it that far just to put on a show. So community is huge, really important. But I'm going to share something that I did for myself that was the saving grace for me. And that was, I took this book right here and I spent 2 years writing every last detail in it. When something would happen that didn't sit right with me, I would grab my book and I would write it down. And through digesting it this way and documenting it, and now in the aftermath and after processes of figuring out what happened to me, I'm able to really figure it out on a whole new level, and I have so much to draw from, so much information that is valuable in my recovery. So ladies, if you feel like you're being abused, my number 1 suggestion, get a pen and paper and write it out. There's so many videos nowadays online, TED Talks, or, if you have something like one simple word, let's say traumatic bonding, that's a perfect example. Type it into YouTube and look it up. I mean, there's a million different videos out there. There's things out there that you can find for yourself to help yourself out of these situations. And educating yourself is key. It is really the number 1 thing that will help you, rationalize and process what it is that you're going through. So, I just wanted to talk a little bit about a couple of the things that I found to be super abusive, and now that I am in a wonderful, loving relationship with somebody who truly does respect me, I get an everyday example now of how I was being abused and how real it really was. Because I'm now with somebody who doesn't do these things to me and is redefining everything, in a healthy light. So thank you, David. I'm very blessed. So, male friends. I know this is a huge topic of discussion for a lot of women and men out there, and I'm going to be the first to say it. Well, probably not the first, but you get what I'm saying. I don't think that it's okay for people in a relationship to tell their counterpart that they're not allowed to have male or female friends of the same sex. I've had male friends, ones that have lasted, 10, 15 years, in which I haven't had sex with. I have a couple that I have, had relations with. And that is something that is a personal thing. It is not for your partner to decide who you can and cannot be friends with and who is allowed in your life and who isn't. The second that somebody starts telling you who you're allowed to see and hang out with, that's a huge red flag. I currently have a boyfriend in my life who would never even dream of it. And if he had a concern about who was in my life and why, he would express it with the utmost of respect. One thing I've learned is if you truly want to protect your partner, let's say you do see somebody who's sneaky and sly and has really bad intentions, you can't sit there and shake your finger at that person, because it's only going to push your loved one towards that person. So the best way that you can really truly protect them is going to be by sitting there and getting to know that person that you are skeptical of, because that is true protection. Because who knows why your alarms are going off? Maybe there's something that's blatantly obvious and disrespectful and your partner's missing it. But either way, the best way to protect is to get closer and to draw that person closer so that you can exploit whatever it is that that person is doing. And then you've earned the right to do that as well, right? Like if you don't actually know this person well enough just shake your finger at them, then, you know, you don't have the right to say anything. So a person who gets to know that troubled person for their partner is somebody who's worthy of even having an opinion in the first place. So this is something I dealt with in my abuse, big time. I wasn't allowed to have male friends. I cut most of my male friends out of my life. Norm, both Kyles, I just want to apologize. I love you guys more than anything, and I know that you guys were super frustrated because you didn't see me for almost 2 years, and I know I apologize for that. I was obviously going through some crazy stuff. But yeah, I wasn't allowed to have male friends. It was I was told that I was being disrespectful to my relationship to have these males in my life. I didn't have a father growing up, so I have these males in my life for a reason. These are people who are stable for me. They've been a positive male, you know, influence and role models in my life. And without them, I'm very unbalanced, and I need that. So it's not okay to be told who you can and can't hang out with. It just is never okay. Your partner can gently suggest, but that's about it. Yeah, and that's also very isolating too, right? It leads back to that isolation factor for sure. So, yeah, your man or woman should care about who you care about by default. That's not even up for discussion, you know? And if they really, really feel strongly about it, then they really need to do their work on, you know, explaining why and having, you know, something legitimate to go on. Otherwise, that classifies as abuse. So I do understand that cheating happens, and, you know, all of those things are very real in a lot of relationships, and especially when people have been scarred from previous relationships. I understand that there's a lot of anxiety and trauma that can go behind, you know, something like that. But at the same time, you can't, there is no justification for treating somebody that way or their friends. So think twice before you do that to your partner. And yeah, it is completely healthy and normal to have friends of the opposite sex while you're in a relationship. You can't avoid 50% of the population just because you have an insecure partner. That's just, excuse my French, but that's just fucking stupid. So anybody who treats their partner that way, wake up and realize that that's abusive and that's not okay. Yeah, so that's conclusion number 1. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully this is helpful to anybody right now who's struggling in their own relationships, whatever it may be. Feel free to make requests if you guys want any topics discussed, or if there's anything that you are struggling with that you're, you know, worried and concerned about. If you don't know whether you're being abused or not, or where the line is. I have done 6.5 years of qualitative research on everything from psychology to sociology to mental illness. I'm pretty fluent in all of these things, and I'm also a living, walking byproduct of abuse. I have a ton of experience in this area because I've lived it, so I have the empathy and the compassion to help you. And then also the knowledge, because I've done a ton of research and I know what I'm talking about. So feel free to message me, and I hopefully you liked this video and hopefully it helped you out. Thanks.